Hey guys, Marissa Boyle here. I'm going to show you my calculator on flip homes. So if you want to buy, renovate, or rehab and then resell a property, you are a flipper. So I will show you how to do that. So a couple things when you're buying flip houses, you have three really important numbers, and one is what you're going to buy the house for. The second is how much it costs to repair the house. And then the third is how much you're going to list the property for. And if you mess up any of those three numbers, that's what will get people in trouble. And then the other kind of piece of it is underestimating repair timelines, days on market once you finally list it. So pay close attention when you're flipping to how much you buy the property for, how much it's going to cost to repair it, and what you'll list it for, and then your timelines on the rehab and then the list period. So I'm going to do an example home for you. And as always, you can download these spreadsheets at marissaboyle.com under free download. So purchase price, let's say you buy a house for $375,000. We're going to estimate closing costs at 1.5%. As always, I run these calculations based on if you're paying cash for the property and for the renovation, because if you can get the returns to work on a cash basis, you can certainly get them to work if you put some financing or leverage or loan or whatever you want to call it on there. Okay, so next up, we need to figure out what it's going to cost to repair the property. So this is where I highly recommend you have a good general contractor, handyman, tradespeople. So that's things like plumbers, electricians, heating and air. So let's say it's going to cost $50,000. We're going to upgrade the kitchen and the baths, do some paint, do some flooring. Then we're going to need to decide, is this a cosmetic flip or is this a non-cosmetic? So cosmetic would mean you go in, paint, flooring, I don't know, just little basic things like that. Non-cosmetic would be things like moving walls, doing an addition. So the more you're kind of tearing apart the property, the larger you're going to want to put like a variance estimate. And all that means is just, it's kind of like your oh shit budget. Like, what if something happens, I miss it? For this property, this example property, I'll put our variance at, let's say, 10%, just to give me some buffer. So that calculates $5,000 extra dollars, just kind of some float room in there if you mess up the repair estimate. Carrying costs, things like utilities, bookkeeping, property taxes while you own the property. So put that at 1,000. Then we're going to add all these numbers up. So that gives us our out-of-pocket expenses. So for this property, to buy it, rehab it, and hold on to it until you sell it is going to cost you $436,625. Then next up, we've got what we're going to sell the property for. So let's say we think we can sell it for, I don't know, $525,000. That's going to create our calculation for closing costs, and I estimate that at about 1%. And then real estate commission. So if you're a realtor, could be less, could be more. You make your own estimate. I put 6%, 3% for the listing agent, 3% going to the buy side. I will tell you, working with people that renovate and flip homes is great kind of repeat business. So be the realtor that can find the homes for the person flipping and then also list them on the back end for them. Anyway, great way to get repeat business. So we've got selling expenses, closing costs, and commissions. I don't put that up with out-of-pocket expenses because the commission and closing costs on the eventual resale comes out of the proceeds. So it's not like the seller or the flipper is going to have to come up with that money out of pocket. So that's why I do it that way. And so we've got sale price of $525,000, and again, you've got to be good at estimating that. You'll hear it called like ARV, which means after repair value, or FMV, fair market value. So then we're going to calculate some returns here. We've got total revenue of $525 because that's what we're going to sell the property for. We have the total expenses, so that's going to be your costs to sell, so the closing costs and the commissions, as well as the initial investment of the purchase of the home, as well as those rehab and carrying costs. So that's $473. Then we take our sale price minus our expenses, so that gives us a kind of net dollars made of $51,625. My personal opinion is you want that number to be 20,000 or better, because it gives you a little bit of buffer if you make a mistake on, and again, you can make a mistake on how much you acquire the property for, how much you resell it for renovations, and you can also mess up time under construction as well as time on market. So pay attention to those. Next up is percent profit. So all that is taking dollars made and dividing it by the total expenses, and that gives you about a 12% return on this property. So super important to be able to calculate these. You can share this spreadsheet with your flippers. If you are a flipper, go ahead and use it, edit it to your own kind of needs. A couple other things I want to point out: knowing how to comp properties or value homes is super important in this model, because not only do you need to know how much the property is worth like as is before any renovations get done, you need to be able to learn how to comp the property after the repairs are done. So just some basic notes about how do you pick comparable sales, homes that have sold within the last 6 months, within plus or minus a 10 years built. So you can take a look at that. This one right here, comp killers or fatal flaws of flipping homes. These are things like main roads, sloping driveways, floodplains, train tracks. Watch out for these things. I see a lot of novice flippers get super duper excited about this great deal they just got on a property, and I'll pull it up on Google Images or Google Maps or whatever, and I'm like, oh, fantastic, congratulations on the main road discount, congratulations on the floodplain discount. So just make sure when you're acquiring homes or looking at them, you're paying attention and looking for what I call the fatal flaws of flipping. And then pay attention too to standard features versus upgrades. So what I will say there is, know the price point, know what the neighborhood has. And my personal opinion is you should slightly upgrade past what the neighborhood requires. And then when you go to list it, slightly list it below what the comparable sales are saying. So you've got a little bit better product for a lesser price, so that squishes your days on market, because when people look at the other homes competing, yours looks better and is priced a little bit better. So the idea there is that you create urgency, get an offer right away, and a bidding war. So pay attention, standard features versus upgrades. Again, I always say too, don't over upgrade. There's no need to put in like the Ferrari of sink faucets when like the Honda version will do. So pay attention to that stuff. Again, I will put the link to get this download in the description, and you can always go to marissaboyle.com and click on free downloads for it.